Hello, hello, hello. TM24 here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. Now, if you are just now finding the channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy the video, find it entertaining. If you are a returning viewer, I hope you love it even more, and I do really appreciate the continued support. My llama here, he continues to appreciate your support as well. And today we are highlighting a new card. We were lucky enough to pick up Spider-Man 2099. So first off, we'll talk about him a little bit. It's a 4/6 that the first time it moves, it's going to destroy a random enemy card at the location that it's moving to. So 4/6, that stat line, that's actually pretty good. It's maybe a little bit better than average, probably average, comparable to White Queen, things like that. But that movement ability is really, really nice. So it's destroying an opponent's card. If you can get it to target, something strong, maybe your opponent's only got a couple of really strong cards at the location, it can come up huge. Obviously, because it's random, that makes it a little bit tough to really make sure you're getting that value. If you're destroying something like a squirrel, not gonna feel all that great. But if you're taking out something like a Hulk, hey, it might feel awesome. So I kind of thought to myself, where would this Spider-Man card fit in? The obvious answer is in movement decks. But I wanted to try something a little bit different first. So what I've got here in this first list is kind of a Kitty Pryde tempo Sera list with Spider-Man 2099 acting as a a destroy, kind of like a little bit better Shang-Chi in this list, as long as you can pull him off. You've got a couple ways to do that. We've got Iron Fist, Ghost Spider, Cloak as our main tools to make sure that we can pull off that ability. Additionally, those three cards will help us in regards to the Miles Morales Spider-Man. They'll also help us with Vulture and making sure our Vulture is nice and healthy as well. And then, like I said, we've got some standard cards in here. So just looking at this list, we've got Kitty Pryde, of course. We've got Iron Fist to help us kind of move some of these cards around. Our two drops are Angela, Ghost Spider, and Jeff. Jeff is a really nice inclusion because he helps get out the Miles Morales Spider. You can play him on top of Angela and move him out so that spot is still open, so Angela can continue to get buffed up. So really, really like Jeff in this list as well. Cloak is also another one of our two drops, again, helping us move cards around. Angela is going to be a nice source of power, whether you're playing Kitty Prydes on top of her, or playing Jeff, or even playing, a couple cards on here, playing Cloak, and then moving Angela so that you continue to power her up. You kind of got a few ways to do that. Our three drops are going to be Bishop and Vulture. Obviously, Bishop is going to be powered up kind of along the way, with, ideally Kitty Pryde coming down multiple times. Iron Fist is going to be buffing up Vulture. Maybe it's Ghost Spider doing that. Maybe it's Cloak. And then we do have Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man as our four drops. Ideally, we're playing Miles Morales as a one drop. The Shang-Chi is there to take out a huge target. And Spider-Man 2099, 2099, whatever you want to call him, does the same thing. Angela is going to give us some discounts so that we can fit some of these cool plays all into one turn, all into that turn 6. And I really, really like this list. It was a little bit tough. Spider-Man definitely feels like he fits more naturally into the move deck list, and that makes sense, right? That's what his ability is kind of built around, is those movement cards. So having Iron Fist, Cloak, Ghost Spider in here to take advantage of it is cool and all. I'm just not sure that this list is the best one for him. We've got that movement list coming up here after this game, but you can see that he still provides a lot of value. He's taking out an opponent's card, which is huge. So he's not only 6 power, but he's potentially 6 plus 12, 6 plus 1, depending on what you hit. So looking at this game, we're able to get Jeff down early here. We've got Bishop. We've kind of got a nice little play line set up, and we already have, him in our hand ready to come through. We've also got Shang-Chi and Cloak, so maybe we're going to save Cloak for turn 5 if we want to, if we play you know, Spider-Man 2099 on turn 4. Maybe we're saving Cloak just as a, you know, a 1/4 if we can get Sera down. It's kind of nice because you've got some options here. So we get our Bishop down, and it comes to our turn 4, and this is where it feels a little bit tricky because ideally you don't want to play Spider-Man 2099 without having something to target, and right now the only card our opponent has played is Jeff. So we don't have a really good target here, so my turn is a little bit awkward. Maybe that's why he feels better in those movement decks, because it seems like you've always got a solid play to make. I like this list because it brings a couple different styles into it, but it definitely feels a bit awkward at times. So turn 4 comes, and the only thing we are playing here is a Cloak, which is probably fine because as of right now, our opponent hasn't played a whole lot. So we are still in a really, really nice spot. But ideally, we would have liked to extend our lead a little bit as opposed to, you know, giving them an opportunity to get back in it. Turn 5 here, we've got a couple options again. We've got Sera because they played Rescue into Baxter Building. They have the lead. So we could play Shang-Chi into that middle lane, but ultimately we decide to go with Sera to get those discounts and see what we can make happen on turn 6. We've got Iron Fist ready to go so that we could toss our Spider-Man out there. We've got Pryde, even though we haven't played her, she will still buff up Bishop. So we've got a few options here depending on what we want to do. So Sera's down. We're just waiting for our opponent to make a move, and then we'll plan our turn 6. Obviously, you guys know if this video is about Spider-Man, he's gonna come down in some aspect, so you're gonna see him come through on turn 6 for us. Now it's just a matter of where and what he's gonna take out. Now they get a Vulture and a Ghost Spider of their own down. A really, really nice play here. Rescue gets buffed up, Vulture gets buffed up, Ghost Spider is in that middle lane helping Baxter Building be a really, really strong location for him. We do pick up Ghost Spider, so that's a really solid pickup, and we're actually going to make use of it. We can get Ghost Spider down to pull our Spider-Man into that middle lane. It's a tad bit stronger than the Iron Fist just because it's that 1 extra power. And we're able to get everything else down. We're tossing it all into Murder World. We're leaving Nidavellir for them. And we're hoping that Spider-Man hits something big here. So we are all set, ready to go. We're just waiting for our opponent to make a move. And in these next couple games, you'll see how Spider-Man fits into a movement deck. And honestly, the last game is a little bit wild. Locations can definitely make Spider-Man go crazy. You could delete a whole location for an opponent, but you'll see that in the very last game here in a moment. But we do play our Spider-Man and then our Ghost Spider to pull him over. And Spider-Man is going to go through and hit that rescue. So hit the best target that we could get. Our Bishop gets buffed from Iron Fist, Pryde, Spider-Man, and Ghost Spider, and we get a nice victory right there. Like I said, this list feels a bit awkward. I'm definitely going to try to optimize that one a bit, but this list right here, this movement list, definitely feels a little bit better. Now, we went with 3 1-drops again. We went with Human Torch, Iron Fist, Nightcrawler. Human Torch is going to be a nice source of power. Iron Fist, we already talked about with the previous list, is going to help enable some of these movement cards. And then Nightcrawler is a great addition to help us get Spider-Man out as well. The Miles Morales version, of course. Nightcrawler might be one spot that I would consider taking out as well, because we do have so many movement pieces in Ghost Spider, Cloak, Doctor Strange, that we might not necessarily need Nightcrawler to make sure that Spider-Man can come out, and we could add something like a dagger, or maybe the multiple man, something like that we could get more power out there and let it stick. Our 2-drops are Kraven, Ghost Spider, Cloak. We already talked about Cloak and Ghost Spider a bit. Kraven, of course, fits naturally into any sort of movement deck, as when you're moving cards to that location, he is being powered up. So we like Kraven in this list. 3-drops, we already talked about Vulture with the last list being powered up each time that you move around. Doctor Strange is going to allow us to move some of these cards. So whether we're moving Vulture, we're moving Cloak, we're moving Spider-Man, ideally he is going to be the strongest card out there until turn 6 most of the time, or unless Torch and Vulture haven't been moved. So we've got a nice target there as well. And then 4 drops the same, 2 of the same, no Shang-Chi in this list, just Spider-Man and Spider-Man. And then our 6 drops are actually going to be Heimdall and Magneto. So I really like this list. I think it kind of fits. Spider-Man definitely fits much better in this list, and I think that makes sense, him being a move card. But I'm not completely convinced that he is a super strong card. 4/6 is nice. That ability is really nice. He can feel a little bit tough to pull off. This list, it feels a little bit better because we could play him on 4 and then pull him with Ghost Spider or Doctor Strange, something like that on 5. But he can feel a little bit clunky at times. In this instance, we're able to get Heimdall down, and our goal obviously is to take out that monster or take out Vulture. So Heimdall comes through, we move Spider-Man over, he does pull in that Vulture, takes it out, Human Torch moves, Cloak moves, Spider-Man moves, Iron Fist moves, all into Nidavellir. We completely leave Xandar, and we get a huge victory right here. Definitely a much more natural fit. I think this is, you know, any sort of movement deck is going to be the type of list that he will thrive in. So I think that's his best spot right now. He still like I said, he still feels a bit clunky. Typically I was using him to move on, you know, on turn 6 is when he was coming through. So not often was I, you know, using his ability on turn 5. You know, the only other time that he could probably come down. In this instance, Iceman hits our Spider-Man, so again, now we're definitely looking at a turn 6. But you'll see here with this next location revealed how crazy Spider-Man could actually go with certain locations. He can win a location by himself, quite literally. Now granted, there are multiple copies, but you'll see it right here. And you could probably guess the lineup play. As soon as we see Bar Sinister, we've got a plan. It's time to get Vulture buffed up. It's time to get some power into Titan, because Spider-Man is coming down into Bar Sinister on 5. We've got Heimdall ready to go for 6. So our plan is just to completely delete their side of the board in the Daily Bugle on turn 6. Now, I wish I would have played Scorpion in Titan or something like that, but hey, 3 out of 4 is not bad, and in most cases it's going to be more than enough to make sure that we get a nice victory, thanks to Spider-Man taking one location on his own, and then us buffing everything else, thanks to these movement cards. But you can see here, turn 4, we're going to start getting that Vulture powered up, and we've even got Cloak so that we can toss Vulture right back into the Daily Bugle on 5. I think that's what, yeah, on 5, while we play Spider-Man into Bar Sinister. So this actually lined up really nicely. And this is actually a really nice combo just for movement decks in general. Vulture on 3, Ghost Spider on 4, Cloak on 4. You get 2 procs immediately with your Vulture. Yeah, mine was hit by Scorpion, but ultimately that's not enough. We still have Heimdall ready to come down as well, so we know Vulture is going to be an insane source of power in this game. We've also kind of cleared our way so that all of our cards are going to wind up on Titan and the Daily Bugle. So it's set up perfectly where we're only going to try to contest 2 locations, and in those 2 locations we are going to have plenty of power. We're gonna have Vulture at 12, Cloak at 4, Ghost Spider at 2, Heimdall at 7, and we're just gonna delete his entire board, or at least try to, in the Daily Bugle, thanks to Spider-Man. So definitely a really cool play coming up here. If you could get multiple copies, or if you had multiple procs, that would be insane, but I think that might be too strong. So you'd have to look for plays like this where the location allows you to have multiple copies to actually pull something like this off. As you guys can see, they load up in this middle Daily Bugle lane. They've got a couple of bishops. They got their Scorpion of their own, and they're ready to go in. They get Hit Monkey down, and then Beast brings it all back to their hand. So I am a little bit worried, but they don't have too many spots to actually play. So that's the only thing saving us. Our Vulture is already at 12 power. Heimdall's going to come through, so Vulture will be at 17 with his plus 5 here. So we are in a really strong spot, and you guys are about to see Spider-Man go off and just completely delete his, his daily bugle. He gets 1 card, and that's not going to be enough to beat, 3 5-power Spider-Mans and a little Scorpion hanging in there as well. So Heimdall's ready to go. I'm just waiting for my opponent to make his final move and accept defeat here. Granted, he might not know it's coming. He's probably got a pretty good idea with the way this is all lined up, but I don't know if there's a whole lot he would have been able to do about it anyway. So we got Heimdall down, and we're just waiting for the fireworks now. Our opponent's definitely taking their time. They do have that Hit Monkey and an Angela to play, so potentially they could get a decent amount of power down here, but it's hard to see where they would actually win. We're giving up Bar Sinister completely, so there's no need for them to commit any resources there, but they might have to if they want their Hit Monkey to be big enough to even try and compete on Titan. Again, it's going to be really, really tough because our Vulture's already going to be so strong, and you all see it come through here. Heimdall moves, Vulture's at 17, Cloak's at 4, and Spider-Man is just starting to go off, deleting Bishop, and leaving just a Scorpion. They did play Angela, Mysterio, Hit Monkey, and I think they had played one other card there in Bar Sinister, but it's not even going to be close to being enough. Hit Monkey did come out at a nice 9 power, but our Vulture is just way too strong, and we get another huge victory here. Definitely a fun game. As soon as I saw that location, I knew I had to go for it, and luckily it worked out. A little bit closer than we thought, 5 power away, but hey, we'll take that victory. All right, just some final words on Spider-Man 2099, 2099, whatever you want to call him. The first time this moves to a location, destroy an enemy card here. Just kind of comparing him to a couple of these other 4 drops. You can see 4-6 is really nice stat line. Obviously similar to things like Drax, Hellcow, Iron Lad. Not quite at the top, but a lot of these comes with negative abilities, whereas Spider-Man's is definitely a positive one as long as you can pull it off. It can be a little bit tough because 4 is kind of expensive. You're obviously in your last 3 turns of the game. Maybe if you can get him out a little bit earlier with like Zabu, something like that, it would be a bit easier to take advantage of it. But I think Spider-Man is going to be a really solid card. I think he's better than Silk, so better than the most recent other move card added, but I would love to know what you guys think. So put in the comments if you think Spider-Man is going to be, included in the most meta move decks, if you think he's going to make a difference, and if you're picking him up or not. Additionally, if you've hung around till now, I really do appreciate you watching the video. If you haven't subscribed or liked this video, now would be a good time to do it, and keep an eye out for the next one. We're going to be talking about Thanos decks, and I've got 3 of them to show y'all, but that will be in the next one. And until then, have some fun.